morning, critics, and welcome to the fourth part? Yeah, it's fourth part, right? Fourth part of the Recreational Critics Pod Quickies, where we go over a movie that we enjoy or don't like, and this week is a movie we kind of do like a lot, and it's the fourth James Bond movie for the Daniel Craig, Spectre. I'm your host, Jason, with my co-host,
James.
Oh, you seem very happy to talk about this movie.
A little chipper.
Yeah, me and you are both big James Bond fans.
We are.
So this one is an easy pick for us to do this series. We did Skyfall last week, which was our longest quickie, I think, because we had a lot of good things to say about that movie. And we are going to do Spectre this week.
Indeed.
Which was the latest installment of the Daniel Craig movies.
5 years ago now.
God damn, it has been 5 years.
Yeah.
Because that was before my daughter was born.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's wild. And the next one's coming out this year.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Maybe. Apocalypse. Please don't happen yet. I want to see this movie. So this follows James Bond's unveiling of a secret organization that's been behind basically everything in the last 3 movies.
Yep.
Even though it really should have only been things in the first 2 movies. But
Yes.
they kind of forgot when they wrote this movie, and they just threw the third movie in with it, even though the third movie was a standalone movie.
Yeah, I think that's the only problem that this movie really has is it gets a little messy.
With continuity issues,
Yeah.
Yep. And with the quantum thing, which we
Yes.
talked about 2 episodes ago, and that was
naming rights and
naming rights, right? They didn't own the rights to the Spectre name, so they had to go with a new name, at which point they then acquired Spectre
yes.
and went back.
You think
to
they
Spectre.
should have just kept going down the quantum realm?
Yeah. Continuity-ish sakes, you know? But then again, you'd get angsty nerds like myself and yourself.
It's Spectre. Just call it
like,
Spectre.
It's Spectre, you bastards. And it comes down to the villain of the movie,
Yeah.
played by Christoph Waltz, who's a fantastic actor. And he's fantastic in everything he's in, and this included.
Yes.
He's Blofeld.
Mm-hmm.
And for the year or so leading up to the film, with the trailers coming out and the plot coming out, people were like, oh man, Blofeld's in this. And they were like, no, it's not Blofeld. It's a whole new character we
It's
created.
original.
It's original. We created him just for this movie. And people were like, oh, okay, cool. And they
Looks a lot like Blofeld.
Right. Kind of weird. He looks like Blofeld, but he doesn't have the scar.
Yep.
And that's where the Sony and Ion Productions try to get away with it. And then fast forward to the movie coming out, and people are like, oh, he's Blofeld. Because then he gets the scar.
Yes.
Fuck you. Like, I can't believe they pulled that shit. You got caught in what you were trying to do. Just like, you could just be like what Kevin Feige and all them do and be like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, instead they straight up just went, no.
You guys are dumb. You'll believe this.
Right. We created a whole new character. Don't worry. And then when the movie comes out, we're like, we duped you.
Yeah, we got you so good.
Bastards. So, did you look up the plot for this movie?
I did.
Usually your go-to on this.
IMDb does such a good job.
Even though I gave
Unless
away,
it's a
like,
2.5 hour
terrible movie like Last Days of American Crime, which is earlier this week's episode.
Yes.
Which is going to come out tomorrow. The time this is being recorded.
All right. A cryptic message from James Bond's past sends him on a trail to uncover the existence of a sinister organization named Spectre. With a new threat dawning, Bond learns the terrible truth about the author of all his pain in his most recent missions.
Okay. And so they tie together Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, and Skyfall under one package, Spectre. And the way they find out is Q does a DNA scan of a ring they take off a guy they killed. This part's kind of dumb, right?
It's very much the bullet shot into the wall from Dark Knight.
Yeah. Oh, I can talk about that for ages. And so,
Leave it for another podcast.
Okay. And he scans this ring on this really cool DNA pad that comes out of his laptop for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
That's beside the point. And it shows, like, we talked about this before in the past. And so it shows this, like, really cool PowerPoint animation of the Spectre octopus, if you will, with all his legs coming out and all these people tied to the organization that they never heard of before.
Yep.
But ties them all together. And it's Silva from Skyfall, Dominic Green from Quantum of Solace, and then Lashif. And then like a few other people, Mr. Brown, Mr. White or whatever, and a few other people they ran into along the way. They show all these people under that realm of Spectre, and you're like, fuck you. You're like, you mean to tell me all those guys touched that ring and their DNA is still active on that ring? Fuck you.
Yep.
Really? You're going to try and pull that one on us? Like we're not smart? And so Q is the one that finds all this stuff out. Who I like Q. I liked him in Skyfall. I liked him in this movie. He's young. He's different. He's innovative. And he's kind of an asshole, which is good, right? Like, what's the word I'm looking for? He's obnoxious in like a very subtle way.
Yes.
Because he knows he's better than everyone else and that he could run all these missions from the comfort of his home, but he knows Bond needs to be the muscle behind it. And so he finds all this stuff out, and within 5 minutes creates this weird PowerPoint animation thing for Bond to understand and for us, the viewers, to understand who this organization is.
I loved it.
It's so stupid.
It's just plot exposition done in the most blatant way.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, we're going to walk you through this thing.
Yeah, because you're all idiots. You all can't understand.
Hey, dummies. Remember the past 3 movies?
Yeah. If you didn't, here they are. So Bond accidentally stumbles into one of their meetings.
Kinda, yeah.
He kind of means to be there, but not really. He doesn't know what he's stumbling into.
Yeah, he shows a couple guys a ring, and he's like, Hail Hydra, and they let him right on in.
Yeah, come on in.
Yep.
And so he goes into the Nazi Hydra meeting,
mm-hmm.
and it's run by a guy who's basically just like telling like the news brief of the week, you know, like here's what's been going on in our secret organization. And they don't like what he's done, and so the leader comes in. He sits down, and it's Christoph Waltz. You can tell by the shape of his head, it's Christoph Waltz. And he kind of gives a signal to have the guy killed. Dave Bautista walks up and just... No, they want a replacement for him because he's not doing a good job. And so Dave Bautista just shows up. He's in the meeting.
No, there's an open spot, and then there's a guy sitting there.
Yeah.
And then basically he asked him, like, what rights do you have to keep that chair?
That's right.
Then Batista comes up.
And just snaps his neck.
Yeah, after he gouges his eyes out with his white thumbnails.
Black.
I'm pretty sure they're white, aren't they?
No, I'm pretty sure he painted them black.
I can't remember.
So I remember making a mental thought of like, why would Dave Bautista paint his nails black? So he's odd job in this movie.
Yeah.
Without being odd job. He's just a quiet brute.
Totally not odd job.
Right. Oh, totally new character. We're going to call him Random Task. It's a totally new character. Wasn't set in any other parody movies of our stuff.
Oh, God.
And he kills this guy and takes over his job. So now he's like the muscle behind Spectre. And he's James Bond's muscle counterpart, if you will. The only time he ever speaks in this movie, maybe not the only time, but one of the only times, is where James Bond, like, you know that shit they did in Dark Knight where he kicks the SWAT guy off the roof, but they're all tied together, and so they all start falling one by one? Well, Bond ties a chain around this guy's neck, about an odd job, Random Task's neck, and they're on a train. I can't remember the context, but they're on the train, and he kicks a barrel that the chain's attached to off the train. Well, that barrel is attached to another barrel, which ties to another one, and it just keeps going until Dave Bautista looks over after all the barrels are gone, and goes, "Oh shit," and then flies off the train. And I said, "You just fucking ruined that character."
Yep.
Because he was so silent the entire time, and he was just a walking tank. And then you go, you know, you make him into a comedy with him going, "Oh shit." You didn't need that.
They're white.
They are white, you're right. My apologies.
Thanks, YouTube.
Yeah.
Shout out to YouTube. Little upstart company.
I can't believe... Yeah, indie company. I can't believe you just sat there on YouTube looking for the scene.
I needed to know.
I knew they were white.
It wasn't about proving you wrong. It was like me feeling like I lived in a Berenstain Bears reality.
It's EIN, right? It's always been EIN.
For sure.
For sure. I can tell that story at the end of this if you like. The one about my mother.
No thanks.
You don't like the one about my mom?
Oh, no. I love all the stories.
Yeah. They're so good. So, yeah, he gets that knocked off the train and you make them into a fucking comedy. And I hated it. And because they fake him out his death at some other point, too. he crashes a plane or he crashes a car into a cabin or some shit. He crashes a vehicle into a cabin, and you think he's dead. Oddjob's dead or whatever. And then he wakes up and he comes back to find Bond on the train or something like that. And then that's when he knocks him off the train. And he's dead. There's no surviving a train going 100 miles per hour.
And you having your neck holding everything together.
Yeah. You're dead.
Yep.
Hate to tell you it, but you're dead.
Goodbye, random task.
Yeah. He's Oddjob, right?
Yeah, it's funny. It's super funny.
Yeah. Why can't they just like admit these are not original characters and just be like, we're just feeding you the same shit you've seen before?
Lean into it.
I guess. And because of an explosion at like a facility that was run by Christoph Waltz's character while he's trying to torture Bond, he gets his scar and becomes Blofeld.
Yes.
To which he comes back to MI6.
That was such an old-timey Bond scene.
Yeah.
Like I'm
the
going to torture you.
You're going to die, Mr. Bond.
No, I expect you to die after I slowly talk and torture you.
Tell you my plan.
Yes.
And your love interest here is going to be here to help you escape. But I won't know it.
Is definitely a departure from the grounded
Skyfall movie.
Grounded all three movies.
Mm-hmm. It's very Bondy. It's very Sean Connery Bond.
Yes.
And
I have mixed feelings about it.
Yeah.
But I do understand why some people don't like this movie.
No, I understand as well. It's not a bad movie.
No, it's not.
But it's not what the other three were. If Skyfall was the last Craig Bond movie, his series would have ended on a high note.
Yes.
And that's why I think they're doing No Time to Die with him, because they want his series to end on a relatively high note. Hopefully. We don't know.
I'm sure it'll be good.
Yeah, we don't know. We'll find out. But this movie was not his high note.
No, it wasn't.
It brought him down as a Bond. And that really sucks, because it made what it was gritty and grounded into kind of a comedy Bond, Roger Moore kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the entire time there's a back subplot of like legislative getting passed to like,
which it feels like Skyfall was about as well.
It was. That's what Skyfall led into.
Yeah.
This. So it worked out right, because you have Ralph Fiennes' character and the new guy or whatever, who's actually a traitor the entire time. Doing that whole like bringing in some more oversight and bringing in some restrictions on these spies and MI6.
Yeah.
And that flowed naturally. But I hated the subplot and going back to it and going back to this, because you knew what the twist was. You knew that guy was up to no good.
For sure.
But then, what was the other thing I didn't like about Blofeld? Was that his brother.
Yes.
That's so fucking stupid. You don't need to do that to me. You just introduced his backstory in the last movie with Skyfall and Kincaid, and his mom and dad died or whatever. And then you're like, yeah, his mom and dad died on that mountain trip or that ski resort or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
But James was actually there too, even though James was at home in Skyfall. According to Kincaid, like, hey, I hate to tell you, your mom and dad are dead. He locked himself in the cellar for 2 days, came out a man, kind of thing. But then you find out in this movie, he was there when his dad died. But guess who else was there? His brother that no one ever mentioned.
Yes.
Who went missing in the avalanche or some shit like that, and came back and hates his brother. Right?
They don't really go into it.
Right. He hates his brother James now. And he somehow acquired this massive wealth and this massive Illuminati thing to go after his brother that he knew was an MI6 agent, who obviously you couldn't plan that shit 20 years ago.
He could have just invited him over and ruined every holiday for the rest of time. Just played the long game.
Make Christmas a disaster, like overcook the turkey or something like that.
Just low-key torture.
Forget the honey glaze.
I made fruit salad. Oh,
God damn it. Blofeld.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so many weird twists they try to throw at you, and like little curveballs to the backstory, and you're just like, I don't give a fuck. You give a fuck meters, and M's gone.
Yes.
And so your give a fuck meter for this series is really low, because Judi Dench was a great part of the first 3 movies.
I agree.
Yeah, she was awesome in it. She's awesome in the Pierce Brosnan ones also, but she's what really helped me tie it all together was Judi Dench's fantastic performances.
So, jumping a little bit ahead to No Time to Die.
Yeah.
Do you know who's directing this one?
I don't.
Kari Joji Fukunaga.
Never heard of her. Oh, yeah. I do know
Him.
about this movie. She is...
He.
M's a he?
No, Kari Joji Fukunaga, the director, is a he.
I thought they were having the first female director since From Russia with Love. No, first female writer since From Russia with Love.
Gotcha.
Okay, that's what it was.
He has not directed very many TV series, or he has not directed very many movies. He's done a lot of TV. He did a lot of True Detective.
Yeah. That might translate well, though.
Yeah, he has done writing for more stuff.
Okay.
Like he wrote It.
Oh, the newest ones?
It looks like he's writing some of No Time to Die at least.
Okay.
So this actually be pretty interesting.
Yeah. I know they're going to have a Bond woman instead of a Bond girl in this, like another agent, which they kind of already had with Skyfall.
Right.
And was she in Spectre? She was in Spectre a little bit, Naomi Harris.
Mm-hmm.
And they're also, I read this today, they're going to have the longest intro music ever in a Bond movie.
There's been some long ones.
Yep. Skyfall was long.
Yep.
This one's going to be the longest. And Billie Eilish is doing the song.
It's going to be hard.
It's going to be hard to really stomach it after this crap Billie Eilish puts out, you know?
I don't mind Billie Eilish.
Yeah,
I'm not going to hate.
But she's not my type of music.
No, of course not.
But they had Adele do it, and they had
Sam Smith.
Sam Smith's version is amazing.
Dude, I liked it.
Yeah. And the opening sequences to this movie, Spectre, is amazing. It really fits, like, the movie vibe.
Yeah.
I hope it's good. Another thing they were talking about with this movie, I think it was just that Bond woman part, was having another field agent, but that's something different because they did that in Skyfall, which was Moneypenny. They made Moneypenny a spy.
Yep.
And then made her not a spy again.
And then
made her
back to a spy.
We don't know what to do with you, Moneypenny.
Yep.
With all that sexual, but what I did like about Skyfall is the sexual tension between Moneypenny and Bond.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's definitely a Brosnan.
Yes. Well, I mean, that's all the way back.
Maybe that's all the way back to Connery, right?
Yep.
But that's a very blatant kind of thing. But Skyfall took it to a whole different level. Instead of just running into each other at the office and going, when am I ever going to get a little piece of Miss Moneypenny? They're like, she's shaving him in his hotel as he's undoing her shirt. And you're like, that's a little bit different.
I was glad that they went with an actual Moneypenny. Because in Casino, Ava Green says, I'm the money. And he says every penny of it. Yeah. And I was like, oh, is that the character? So they did trick me on that one.
Yeah. Well, that was supposed to be a fan service thing. Like,
yes.
Ding, we got you. Because I don't think they expected to make very many more Craig movies.
Yeah.
Only because Craig was very poorly received to be Bond.
Yes.
Very poorly. And then everyone went back and went, oh, we take that back. That was amazing.
Yes.
He's the best Bond.
What direction do you think they're going to go for No Time to Die? You think they're going to go back to grounded, or you think they're going to kind of stay with the campy?
I think they're going to go campy, and I think they're going to go kind of activist. I think it's going to be that woman role.
I hope they go back to grounded one more time and then call it a day.
Yeah, because that's where he thrived.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Craig is a great Bond, especially when he's grounded and he's like depressed.
Mm-hmm.
That part about Skyfall and Quantum, when he's just like a depressed guy who can't get his life together, that's his best stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't like him being so serious in the role and everybody being campy around him.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of the jarring part.
I want Q to come back.
Yeah, for sure.
I like Q a lot. I was so mad they waited until fucking Skyfall to reintroduce him.
I think it was perfect.
But it was perfect timing when he was reintroduced. Especially because Bond didn't expect it. He's like, oh my god, you're Q. Like, yeah.
Like, what are you in fucking high school?
Yeah. Are you 15?
Yeah.
What the hell is going on here? I got nothing else for this movie other than it's a great movie and go watch it.
It's good.
Yeah, go watch all 4 of these movies.
Indeed.
All right, that's it from us this week. Don't forget to check us out on Sunday as we go over a movie we haven't discussed yet.
Yeah, vote on the tweeter.
Vote on the tweeter. We'll decide on Friday, tomorrow. So go ahead and do that. Thanks. Have a good one.
Have a good one, everybody.